Republican Congressman Ron Wright of Texas has died due to complications from COVID-19. The 67-year-old announced he'd tested positive for the virus on January 21st. He died Sunday at Baylor Hospital. His wife, Susan, continues to battle the illness there. In a statement, Wright's congressional office said the congressman was also fighting cancer, adding that he died peacefully with his wife by his side. Congressman Wright represented Texas's 6th congressional district since 2019. For more, let's bring in the Texas Tribune's Washington bureau chief, Abby Livingston. Abby, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Congressman Wright and his wife were both diagnosed with coronavirus, but the congressman had other health issues. What can you tell us?
Absolutely. He has been in a long battle with lung cancer almost since the time he came to Congress. This was only the beginning of his second term, so he really had yet to make his mark as a member, although he had been a longtime Capitol Hill staffer in the past.
Well, you've described Ron Wright as a fixture of the local political scene, especially in Tarrant County, which includes Fort Worth. Tell us a little about his backstory and how he came to Congress.
Well, he was a top staffer to a congressman named Joe Barton, who had been a long time congressman who left in a bit of scandal several years ago. And so Congressman Wright ran and eventually succeeded him in Congress. But he'd also been the tax assessor collector in Tarrant County, and had been on the city council in a very large city that most people don't know much about called Arlington. This is where the Cowboys and the Ranger stadiums are. And so he's been very well known. And I think there's a lot of grieving in Tarrant County tonight.
You know, as you know, Congressman Wright was in his second term in the House. It's obviously very early, but there are a lot of decisions that are going to be made in Washington here in the coming weeks, including on economic relief for Americans. Do we have any information, Abby, on what will become of Texas's 6th district seat?
Well, this could become a nationalized special election. We don't know quite yet. Congressman Wright won and ran by about 8 and 9 points in the last 2 cycles. But Democrats have been threatening this district. They have not fully resourced their candidates who've been running. But this is the kind of district that they've been able to turn over in a special election. And so it could become a very interesting race should Democrats fully invest.
Yeah, I mean, what does this have the potential to look like, given what we saw, what we've seen recently in the state of Texas in particular? We kept hearing about this quote unquote blue wave, but what could this potentially look like here?
Well, this is the story of Texas, and this is the story of the larger congressional battleground across the country, which is Arlington is a very urban environment. Tarrant County is effectively the bellwether county of Texas. The way Tarrant County goes is usually the way Texas goes, but it's even been trending even more Democratic than the rest of the state in the last 2 cycles. But you extend down past Arlington and you start getting into some very rural areas where Donald Trump is very popular. And so the upper hand is undoubtedly with Republicans, and we still don't even know how seriously the Democrats are going to challenge this seat. But this is one where Republicans were a little anxious about last fall and had wondered if Democrats had put more money behind it, could Ron Wright have been in more trouble? And so this is going to be a fascinating race, and I think it could become interesting on the scale of, say, Connor Lamb's race in Pennsylvania, which was a subject of fascination, I guess, in 2017. And so this is our first real test special election to see which way the winds are blowing nationally this cycle.
Yeah, as you point out, a great deal of interest in what's happening there in Texas. Abby Livingston for us. Abby, thank you very much.
Thank you.